nosotros. Jamás descansamos. ¡Encuéntralo!
Tu inhibidor
Comenzamos siendo uno.
Espera un poco.
Espalda con espalda. Estábamos así. Mis asesinos serán castigados. Recordaremos.
El cielo no se quedará vacío. El cielo está por ahí.
woods, they're vast. You need to get through there. Through this, you need to go. Don't be stupid. You'll die here. You'll die here as a failure. Think. Don't trust anyone. They will see through you. They will see us. They won't trust you. Fight. You're forced to hold a conversation with them. They're the only people who know you, even understand you. They've always been with you, always been there for you. You force yourself to keep going, even if your limbs scream with agony and tiredness. You can't afford to rest. You can't afford to even take a breath. You live on borrowed time. They live on your time. Your friends. The Furies. Now, if you're unaware, on the 21st of May, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 was released. Don't be surprised if you've never heard of that game or didn't hear anything about it, because frankly, no one did. A lot of people loved the first Hellblade game, Senua's Sacrifice, which came out in 2017. Now, that's been about 6 years, and finally, the story's been picked up again. I do want to focus on the immense undermarketing of this game, to the point that there's probably a conspiracy theory that Microsoft are basically trying to kill Ninja Theory, the studio that made this game. But I really just want to clarify that like no one knew about this game being released. Now this game is about 5 to 6 hours separated into 6 chapters, and some of the people that did play it were so unengaged with it they didn't even want to finish it. I mean, if you want an example, look at Critical. He started streaming the game, and to this day he still hasn't picked it up since. The game begins with a recap of the first game that came out 6 years ago. You learn of Senua's adventure, how she challenged the gods and accepted the voices, her psychosis. Right.
Hey, Pyro adjusted my 18th birthday yesterday. There is one thing that would make me the happiest, and that would be if you were to show your toes again.
Senua.
I'm not showing my toes.
Pulling at the shards lodged.
I'm trying to remember the game now. It's all a bit of a blur. I know that she has schizophrenia.
Into the underworld.
So she would like, she'd hear like voices. She'd hear like her own voice, basically roasting her. Skip it? I want to know the lore at least. Like, I played the original, but the original game is like 6 years old. Why is it shaped like that? Why is it shaped like that, man? What are they thinking? Why is it shaped like that? Come on. You're not gonna get demonetized now. That sucks. Senua was always someone that had connections to other planes, and because of that, she would hear voices in her head. Imagine the concept of the angel and devil on your shoulder, but a lot more complicated. These voices would mock her, tell her if she's doing something wrong, but also congratulate her if she made some kind of accomplishment.
She is strong. You are powerful. She is stronger than this.
These are dubbed in the game as the Furies, a symptom of Senua's psychosis. But what's interesting about the first game is, even though she does have psychosis, it's hinted that it almost gives her special abilities, with her seeing visions in very clear detail and even being able to communicate with the dead, with her being able to have vivid visions to the point that she's transported to completely different realms. The devs Ninja Theory purposely make it ambiguous if the entire game is all in her head, or it could be something deeper than that. But because of where the game also takes place, it does play into that fantasy aspect, that her psychosis, even though debilitating, has really given her a gift. You also learn her mother had psychosis and passed it down to her, and you also learn that her father, Zinbel, was very disapproving.
Your father wants them to go away, and he only hurts me. Silence them.
Believing that Senua, his daughter, was tainted by her mother's sin, even to the point of burning Senua's mother at a stake to try and cleanse her sickness. Even though Zinbel is a character you never directly encounter in the first Hellblade, he basically is the main antagonist.
I will never let you go. You can't get rid of me. I am your shadow, and I will be watching when you draw your last dying gasp.
He is the inner hatred that Senua holds for herself manifested, even to the point that she will speak in her dad's voice, mocking herself and punishing herself.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're a disgrace.
We also learn about Senua's love, Dylan, who in the past freed her and eased her pain and the voices in her head. Eventually though, mostly because of her dad, Senua was tricked into believing that anything that went wrong in the village was because of her. She was spreading a plague to everyone. So she exiled herself from the village with no one to accompany her apart from the Furies, the voices in her head. But while she was gone, the Northmen came and slaughtered her entire village, even sacrificing Dylan, her lover, to the god of hell. That's hell with one L, not two, because this is Norse mythology. In the first game, Senua travels to Helheim, the realm of the dead, taking Dylan's head with her, hoping she can free his soul by striking some kind of deal with Hela, the goddess of the dead.
I'll fight with you at Ragnarok if you release him.
confronting Hela at the end of the game, she wins, killing Senua. But then in a reveal, when we see Hela dropping Dylan's head into the abyss, it cuts to Senua. The entire time, Senua has been dealing with her inner trauma. She's been trying to banish the demons inside her, like her father, the Shadow. The ending of the game is great because even though she still definitely does have psychosis, I mean, you can't cure mental illness by beating some endgame boss. She's learned to let go of her lover and hopefully return to her village. Now, this is where the second game begins. This is where Senua goes after the Northmen, the people that butchered her village. She finds out these Northmen have actually been raiding other villages, turning them into slaves. Now, one thing that's really interesting about the sequel is they had a much bigger budget. The first Hellblade, you were basically just fighting the same really tall guy over and over, with the exception of boss fights that were unique characters. But apart from that, you never really had any other characters in the game. There were voices, and there were very well done cutscenes where they had real life actors, but there was no actual in-game models. It really was just Senua completely on her own. But the second game has multiple human characters we interact with. That's because the first game took place in Helheim, the realm of the dead, and the sequel takes place in Midheim, the realm of man. More specifically, taking place in Iceland.
Iceland!
The place with that funny singer woman. So this game, Senua is captured, taken as a slave, and she basically goes to Iceland, to the source of the Northmen, to end the reign on her people.
She let herself be taken, dragged in chains to their ships.
This is going to be weird if there's actual other humans in the game.
These Northmen.
Is the intro over yet? I feel like I'm watching a TED Talks. Please put Subway Surfers in the corner.
But again, this is transport in a video game, so it might as well be a helicopter in pretty much any Call of Duty title. So it crashes and the Furies go crazy, their voices overlapping each other to push Senua to find a way out. Oh, the ship! Did that just impale her?
HGM coming.
Oh no, she's good. The audio design for this game is so good. I cannot imagine playing this game without headphones. If any of you are watching this on the phone, just stop watching the live stream right now, bro. Like just stop. Damn, those graphics look incredible. Holy. Oh my god. Oh my god, that looked good though. Did you see that? Holy. If only the gameplay was good and not just the graphics. My face when playing story-driven game.
Can stop the call.
The only company to make negative games. Imagine having that watermarked on the opening of your game and you give it no promo, hoping that you use that as a legitimate reason to axe the studio. Wild.
Exhausted. It's too much.
Dude, this is like the voices you get in your head, like any day of the week after 9 p.m. Like that's true, right? Like I'm not just mentally ill, right? You get that.
She can hear them.
I feel like I'm watching a Nolan film, like with the letterboxing. How did they do no promotion for this game? Like, you're gonna shill Starfield, but not this? Crazy. I think this is like the voice in her head. Like, it's not like a god or anything. I think it was just like, let evil, I hate myself, and now it's manifested as a person. Throughout this beginning setup, the Furies make their return. Like I said, at the end of the first game, they never went away. Senua just had better ways of controlling them. And here they actually support you and ridicule the Shadow, the voice of constant negativity that's manifested by her father. The funny thing is about the Furies, though, they will still mock and berate Senua, but they'll always come to her defense whenever the Shadow attacks. They have mono-sided audio, making this game heavily rely on good headphone usage so you can share a similar experience to whispers in your ears, or those very weird ASMR YouTube videos.
Let it block you.
They are suffering, but I set them free.
Symbol. You need to find it. It's here. Somewhere.
There's a symbol, okay.
Look for the sign. Find the right perspective to know she doesn't. It's there. Focus.
You don't know
Focus.
how deep this darkness goes.
How cool is that, though, that they've, like, That's how they communicate objectives in the game. It's not just like a little bar on the top left of the screen. It's literally just like schizo ramblings, and I feel like I'm having like an ASMR session with some woman just whispering in my ear.
Find the survivors.
There's one dead, guys. Like, no one here that died.
There's nothing you can do.
Why is the shadow blaming Senua, by the way? It's not her fault the fucking ship capsized. As you navigate Senua through the coast, suffering from an array of different hallucinations, her people dead, blaming her, claiming that she could have saved them and she can't let them die. It's chaotic, and even you, the player, don't really have a clear direction of what is real and what isn't. Are these manifestations of what Senua thinks these people would say, or is she actually communicating with them beyond the dead? I like how the white rocks in this game, I've noticed, communicate that you need to pass through them, like you climbed in the opening. That is actually the yellow paint. They have white paint now. See, I don't know if I gotta mash anything. Oh, damn. She was holding the sword with her hand as well. She would have cut her hand up pretty badly. Oh, you gotta spam, I think. Oh, broken. Unlucky. Yeah, the combat's really easy. Because you can literally just spam them until their block breaks. Eventually, you end up fighting some of the slavers, which again is a huge step up from the first Hellblade. Because in that game, you were just fighting the same 7-foot-tall giant every single time. But here, they're actually humans. The combat works pretty much the same as the first game. You have a dodge mechanic, a block mechanic, a parry mechanic, a heavy attack, and a light attack. You can also change the difficulty in the options, but I'll be honest, the entire game is more of a cinematic experience, so you'll never really have any trouble with the combat. No. No, come here. Who's that? Let go, homeless man. Oh, it was actually all in the head. Someone said that was a zombies crawler. This will be a big boy now.
You, slave, are fucking dead.
Oh, he's dual wielding. Okay, that one's scary. Gonna try and dodge now. There we go. Unlucky. Yeah, I don't insta-kill him. Surely block broken. Unlucky. Oh, unlucky! Surely break it. It's over. No, it's not. Damn. Why did you why did he not parry that one? He was like, I dodged one attack. That's all I need to do. You get a free hit now. That one scares me. Oh no, you can parry that one. Okay. Okay.
Justicia alada.
¿Qué tal un trago? Una demostración de criterio superior. Paso equilibrado. Adelante. Impongo el desde las sombras. No hay
Uh-oh. How is this fair? I'm winning. I'm winning. Unlucky. Oh! Oh! I'm just gonna keep doing light attacks. Or maybe not. Dude, you suck. Get good. Streamer mode? Streamer mode is for copyright, you idiot. It doesn't make the game easier. That's crazy. That's such a crazy lie that I'd actually believe it. And he dodges this. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Okay. He might be done. He might be done. He might be done. Make it harder. The game has no difficulty, I don't think. No, there's oh wait. Ooh. I'm gonna get fucking naned now, aren't I? I bet you it just speeds up the attacks. Easy mode, it was dynamic, so it would have got harder if I was doing better, which I was there.
Grab it.
Kill.
Wait, do it now. You can't kill him. Stop.
Oh, he's got the rot. He's got the rot from the first game.
Just do it.
He's getting beaten by a woman. L woke game. Woke game. After the battle with the slaver, who takes way too many hits, you push him to the ground. He mocks Senua to kill him, and this is where the Furies step in. They remind Senua about her lack of knowledge of this land, and she takes him as a prisoner.
He knows this side.
No.
He knows. He can show you the path.
You're gonna take me where I need to go.
Yes. Yes.
This is one of the first characters you meet in the game, Thorgester. Now she has a new plan. With the boat destroyed, she'll use him to bring her to his group. Their travels are obviously less than friendly, and he's reluctant to answer her questions or even really do anything.
We are leaving. Now.
Don't give me orders.
But first, I'd like to say your browser is probably quite bad, and that's why the sponsor of this video is Opera GX. A lot of browsers are boring. PC browsers. Oh, but this is a very good first Hellblade game. In Hellblade 1, there was a rot mechanic, which was kind of a sneaky sucker punch placed by the devs. Basically, you had this rot that started on your arm, and the game tells you if you die, it'll spread. And if it reaches your brain, it'll kill you. But the thing is, the rot would never actually spread until specific points in the game. So it's basically a lie that Ninja Theory put into the game to keep players on their toes. This rot is a manifestation that Senua still unfortunately has part of her that believes that she is infected. Not with any kind of specific disease, but more just general calamity, and she believes that she spreads that onto other people. There is no rot on his arm, it's just a manifestation in her head. That's because later on in the game, the rot disappears and it's never brought up again. Now he's forced to come with you. I mean, he can't really fight back, not because of the rot that doesn't exist, but more because the fact that you cut him around 20 times in the boss fight. In the state he's in, he has no other choice but to comply. He can't beat her. Senua learns that his father is a leader of one of the bigger groups of slavers. He has camps and multiple setups all over Iceland. The Furies note this, calling his father a monster and telling her she needs to keep a close eye on him.
This my father, Sigil.
His father.
Your father.
The Gothi.
Monster.
He's here.
Look at him.
No,
The shadow.
but this place is his. The people here are weak. They would not survive without his help.
It's really interesting how Senua actually has to talk to other characters throughout this game, because in the first game there really was no one else to talk to. It was just Senua alone with her thoughts, the Furies, only being reminded by memories of other characters that she interacted with in the past. But Thorgester, he's real, he's present. One thing to note though is Senua herself actually speaks very, very little throughout the game. The Furies, they're non-stop.
What the Sigma? What the fuck is a Sigma?
But Senua only really speaks when she's speaking to other characters, and for the most part, she only really says direct questions or answers.
I thought your father protected these people.
He does. Did. You can't protect people from stupidity.
But that's the point, because Senua's performance isn't her voice, it's her physical acting. Played by Melina Jurgens, a German actress. She does an amazing job capturing the inner turmoil that Senua faces throughout the first and second game. The two of them reach a settlement. Thorgester quickly orders her to turn around and that they should leave. She ignores him and pushes him along, him muttering on about the Dragor. And if you're wondering, yes, it's the same funny dead people from Skyrim. Skeletons are scattered around the walkway leading up to the camp. They have no graves. He mentions the Dragor again, which is unfamiliar to Senua. Thorgester claims that they won't just kill What they do is far worse, but hesitates to explain. There's fear pungent in the air. He's scared. He doesn't want to meet his demise like this. The Furies wish for her to turn and run, even saying that she should leave him there and he's currently just a burden. She knows something is wrong though. She feels it. She knows it. She plans to go into the village, leaving Thorgestir outside, forcing him on the ground and tying him to a pole so he won't leave, because she still needs him. The exploration of the settlement is uneasy, blood and bodies everywhere. In the settlement, Senua finds a man captive, Fargrimir. He's tied up on a totem pole as there's more slaughters around him. But what's interesting is the two of them seem to have some sort of connection. They don't know each other, but they feel like they know each other. Almost like there's some kind of spiritual connection there. Senua fights through the Dragor to free him to finally catch what's going on. The Dragor summon Iltuga, a giant. When she summoned, a rock slide emerges and drowns the settlement. Senua gets out with Fargrimir and she decides to get rid of Thorgestir's restraints after looking at Fargrimir for guidance. The Furies tell her to not have pity. She can see the good in him and unties his binds. Thorgestir accepts the offer to travel so his wounds can be looked after, but he's not shy about expressing that this won't change anything in his mind. The three of them then leave the demolished village to head back to Fargrimir's home, a village in the mountains, to stay away from the giants who rise at night. Now the giants are different because they shouldn't be here in Midheim. This is the realm of man, but they actually came from cracks within the earth when Askja, a volcano, erupted. People seem to believe that sacrificing others to keep them away keeps them safe. The giants are appeased by this, and if you make enough sacrifices, choose to not destroy you.
All we can do is placate them. Slake their thirst with blood and fire.
I see through your darkness now. I see through your lies. And I will show them how to see as I do. I will not appease your gods. I will destroy them.
This is why the Northmen have been ransacking other villages, capturing the inhabitants and using them as slaves. One of the main reasons Fargrimir has so much trust in Senua is because of her psychosis. He believes that she's some kind of seer due to the voices she hears. Keep in mind, this game is set in the 8th century. Back then, people with psychosis genuinely were proclaimed to have some kind of supernatural ability. He mentions to her the Hidden Folk and says he can take her to them and introduce her to them. The Hidden Folk are these sort of godlike figures who reside underground in the mountains. They're reserved and they don't like to speak to man, but they know how to fight the giants. She must pass a series of tests to prove her worth to the Hidden Folk. The Hidden Folk find Senua worthy and they share with her the past. At the time of Aska's eruption, there was a woman in the village named Ingun. The volcano's eruption brought a black sky, famine, death, conflict, and gods crueler than before. Ingun was a desperate woman with a child. She wanted protection from the volcano's wrath. She brought her child to the home of the Hidden Folk, hoping they would be able to give it their protection, and in turn she looked toward Aska for the power to survive, which turned her into a giant. So you'll quickly realize that these aren't actual giants. These aren't people that were given gifts by the gods. These are impure giants, born from immense trauma or despair. This land is brimming with so much magic that anyone can become a giant if their trauma is big enough. With the knowledge given to her, Senua can make her way back to where Iltuga is, finding the bones of her child in the underground. In a way, she hopes to soothe the giant god, or at least put her to rest. And most importantly, Senua knows her name. In Norse mythology, and a lot of mythology in general, knowing someone's true name is immense power. Now, you'd think this would be a huge boss fight, like how the first Hellblade dealt with bosses. But Hellblade 2 deals with this differently. You'll instead travel to her realm, not having to fight her, but freeing her from her trauma in the form of chains binding her. And after she's free, you'll comfort her and she'll turn to stone. Dead, but thankfully her soul can pass on. With her put to rest, Thorgestr looks to join Senua for the remainder of her journey. But although one giant has been killed, there's still more. Their next destination is going towards the shore, a settlement called Baravik. They need more resources. Senua meets their leader, a man known as Astior. He looks at them for help as another god is causing them trouble at their shores. This giant is Savasi. Senua meets back with the hidden folk for information regarding the giant she will have to fight, again trying to learn his name. They share that he was a good-natured man in the past, but with the eruption of Asker, he was overtaken with fear. With his fear, he betrayed Astrior, which led to his exile to the sea. The sea had welcomed him, engulfing him, changing his blood into brine, and turning him into a giant. Again, not a natural giant. This wasn't a gift by the gods. It's a giant made exclusively from trauma. The serene setting doesn't last long as the Dragor make an attack on Baravik. Terrors and more bloodshed coat the air, and Senua feels immense guilt hit her in the gut. This really could be all her fault. She's led them to this place, and in turn, many people have died. She can't continue for long. She goes with her allies and lures Savasi into his cave, as he meets the same fate as Iltulga. Instead of you trying to avoid lava, you're avoiding the sea, the same place that took him. Eventually reaching him and knowing his true name, he turns to stone.
He was lost. And you found him. You brought him here. Now he can rest.
Rest now. Thank you.
Poor Senua. It's too much for her. All the grief. All the death. The others. Their pain. It's too much. She can't do it. Not alone. But she isn't alone.
2 giants are gone now, but there's still more to go. They need to keep moving and have a goal to reach Borgavik. Along the way, though, they reach a dense forest. Senua's allies start to have shreds of doubt. In a spark of wanting to keep optimistic, Senua spins her words towards them to keep hope alive. She gives them the support that they need and gets them to safety. At the arrival of Borgavik, tension is high. Senua's group splits. Some take to freeing the slaves on the outskirts, while Senua goes in with Thorgestr to confront the leader.
Thorgestr, my boy! You've returned.
The goody. It makes my skin crawl. This isn't going to work.
When we did not hear from you, I fear the worst.
He does not care for his son.
How was your raid? Where are the slaves you brought?
Dead, all the lost
We had a
ones
storm
dead.
coming into land. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
He refuses to give his son his ear as Thorgestr tries to empathize the case that he has. Denial is vital as he clearly enjoys controlling people, using the giants to maintain power. As the giant tyrant approaches, Gui learns that these slaves were freed, so he doesn't have anyone to submit as a sacrifice.
He said he was with us.
The sacrifices are gone! Free! There's no one there.
Now!
The giant. It's come.
He makes an attempt to capture Senua, wanting to sacrifice her, but Thorgestr stops him, and the hidden folk take Senua's attention. They tell her about a tyrant and how he was once a noble leader who did what he needed to protect his people from Asker and all the destruction after the explosion. His power grew as they gave him more and more attention, but in doing so, he created something deadly. He created the giants as ways to keep fear instilled, blaming them for any natural disasters that took place. He knew that immense trauma would create these horrible half-giant, half-god breeds, so would probably set up scenarios to make sure that they'd happen to keep fear instilled so people would run to him. Senua is pulled back into reality as she witnessed the fall of Thorgestr at the hands of his father. He pulls Senua close and warns her about the realities of someone else potentially taking over if his father falls. They go into battle, Senua taking on Gui. She shows his people his true nature, all the lies he told them constantly. It's an interesting battle because after realizing that he's just been using the giants the whole time, the facade shatters. And a scary boss fight turns into a frail fat man who basically can't dodge any attacks, even being bullied by people behind him being pushed back into the ring. After he's defeated, the Temptations swarm Senua to end his life and take his place. She could be like her father, a cult leader, controlling a group of people to keep them safe, to keep these people safe at whatever the cost, and gain their love and fear in response. Even though the thought is incredibly tempting, she declines. She's not bound by the chains of destiny. Senua has a means of support now, memories of how her aid has helped others. This is her fuel.
Can I choose my way?
We are not our fathers. There is always a choice. You taught me that.
We will choose. Together.
You decide.
All her life she has been alone. She chose it. A shield to keep her heart from harm. A hymn to still the other voices. The ones outside. Not anymore. What she saved, the names she found, they lift her up. Their hands reach out to hers.
Voy a ser el mejor.